Welcome to the Scottsdale Podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Haygood. It is officially spring. May not feel like it with the weather lately, but it is springtime, and that means one thing and one thing only for Scottsdale. It's time for spring training. The baseball fans are in town, and of course, the San Francisco Giants have filled the city of Scottsdale, and there's no one better to talk to than the Charros themselves. And this year, I have Bob Weston with me. I'm going to take a short break. We'll have Bob at the table talking about how the Charros brought spring training to Scottsdale. With over 20 years of experience in real estate, Sean Shackleton of the Shackleton Group is ready for you. Sean is a well-respected, full-time agent that is always at the forefront of both market trends and market technology. Most importantly, she is a realtor who will listen and always put your needs first. It's no wonder Sean is named as one of America's top 100 real estate agents. So whether you're buying or selling or need a good neighbor, call Sean of the Shackleton Group at 480-734-7277 or find them on the web at theshackletongroup.com. Play ball! That's right, Scottsdale spring training has officially begun. Formed in 1961, the Scottsdale Charros are an all-volunteer, nonprofit group of businesses and civic leaders. They help build our community by supporting youth sports, education, and charitable causes. Scottsdale Charro Bob Weston is here to tell us how the Charros help bring the San Francisco Giants to Scottsdale and what we can expect this year. So, Bob, thank you for joining me at the table, first of all. And I don't know about you, but I'm super excited. It's officially begun. We're a week into spring training. The largest attendance ever happened this year with you at the helm. So how's it going so far?
So we had our first game yesterday on Sunday, and it was raining in the morning. You could not see Camelback Mountain. And, and at 12:15, we had hail coming down. So we were sort of prepared for the worst part of the Scottsdale winters, but it turned out to be really good. We had as you mentioned, we had record attendance yesterday, which is really impressive for a Sunday as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's reflective of the first normal season since 2019.
I'm glad you said something because it has been a crazy 4 years, as we all know, but really for spring training. The pandemic canceled the first one. Then you went to 25% capacity for you all. Then the players walked out and had negotiations, which took away the season for us. And 4 years later, we are finally at 100%. And I think the fans, as you said, opening day filled it up. They're here. They're ready.
There was a really cool energy out there yesterday. And usually the first few games, it's a lot of people coming from San Francisco. But even so, I mean, I just talked to some of the volunteers that were out there yesterday, people that have come out there for the first time because they're really wanting to, check this off their bucket list and be out there. And what better time to do it than the first normal season we've had since 2019. It's been great. We've seen a ton of interest from fans so far. Our ticket sales so far in the Charro Lodge, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, are really going really well so far. So It seems like everybody is just really excited to get back to normal.
Well, let's kind of talk about this year's spring training, what we can expect. And yeah, you mentioned the Charro Lodge. Talk to me about the Charros and spring training.
So our group, back in 1961 when it was formed, really took a lead in bringing baseball to Scottsdale, bringing spring training. And we've always worked closely with the city of Scottsdale at Scottsdale Stadium. There have been a couple of teams over the years, but really for as long as I can remember, it's been the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 3 years ago, we signed a new agreement with the Giants in the city to extend for another 25 years. So the Giants are going to be long-term residents of Scottsdale Stadium. What we do is we have our main part of it is the Charro Lodge, which is it's about a 550, 600 seat venue in right field. We sell tickets to that, and that's an all-inclusive ticket. So it gets you into the stadium. It gets you programs, all-you-can-eat food, beverages, and then we're there as Charro host to provide good hospitality, which is one of the things we always like about it.
Yeah,
it's great for my company is going to be bringing some folks out there a couple of times at different games. It's a great client event. We've been out of the Charro Lodge for a really long time. We've really gotten this process down, and it's just a great way to spend a day watching a ball game is at the Charro Lodge.
Well, you're talking about you've gotten this process down, but right before we started recording, you made a really valid point. The Charros, you're in a 7-year, right? You're a Charro for 7 years. I know for life after that, but you're dedicated and working those 7 years. Many of y'all, like we just said at the beginning, is 4 years in, so y'all have missed half of your opportunity. How have y'all been able to acclimate and change your ways and really learn on the job for some of you all?
Well, it's funny because we all think we know exactly what we're doing, and then you come across some new thing that we've never dealt with before, such as a pandemic and the collective bargaining agreement. But so we have about 45 active members of the organization, and those are the folks who really do all the heavy lifting.
Okay.
We do get a ton of support from lifers, guys who've been in the group for a longer time. They come out and help out, but really a lot of the work that goes into prepping the area and the sales and the actual on-site manpower is really the active. So, yeah, you're usually in about 7 to 8 years as an active member. And so I remember talking to one of the guys yesterday who's like, okay, I'm supposed to be selling programs. I don't even know what that really means. And so we just have guys that have been in for a couple years now and who have never done this before.
Yeah.
And so also, we've had to learn a lot of the new things because we've had, offices have staff turnover. So we've had to make sure that we remember how to do all these things too. And it's actually kind of refreshing a little bit because I wouldn't say they're bad habits, but there's just fresh ideas when you kind of pick something up that you haven't looked at in a couple of years and you sort of get some smart people around the room and think about, is there a better way to do what we've been doing? So we've tried to do that a little bit around the edges. Our big push this year was a lot of the way the tickets have been sold in the past has been a very manual process. It's phone calls, it's taking down credit card numbers, and
oh wow,
yes,
that's very
shockingly
old school.
and one of the hard things about it is that we're an all volunteer organization. Our revenues go to the local charities, so we try to run as lean of an office as we can. And so there's always that fine line between making sure we can provide good service and making a process easy. And we also change leadership out every year. Mm-hmm. And so this year, one of the big tasks that I wanted us to take on was changing out our website. So we created a new baseball website. It's at springtraining.com, and it's a way for folks to come in, select their own tables, buy their own tickets, use their credit card, and it really alleviates a substantial amount of pressure on us as volunteers and also our office staff as well. So that's been the big push this year, was bringing that into the 21st century.
2023, finally.
Right.
Listen, I will say, I've been on the website. It's very easy to work, and you just click on the table you want. It tells you how many seats you get and everything that includes, and you're done.
It's great.
It was so easy.
It's been great. It's caused a lot of stress trying to get us to this point because, it's almost like, we knew that the season was coming and we better be ready for it or not. And so, but it's gone really, really well. We've had a couple of guys in the group who've really gone above and beyond to help get us there. So that's been our big push.
I love that. Well, good for you guys. One of the most famous songs in baseball, of course, is the seventh inning stretch. Root, root, root from the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. I love that, but I think the Scottsdale, the home team always wins. The city of Scottsdale always wins when y'all come. So talk to me about the charity, because that's really what you all work for. That's what this purpose is for, and that is giving back to the city. Do you all establish certain charities every year? Is it the same ones? How do you all do that? And what's your goal each year for this?
So we generally say we put $1 million a year back into the community, and that's across a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. One of the things, and a little bit of history here too, is we're very baseball centric. That's always been our biggest revenue generator, but we always get worried about that. You read any business school book and they say don't have your
all the
one
eggs
client.
In one basket. Yep.
Exactly. And so we've always tried to identify new opportunities to be able to have revenue sources. And so now we've got baseball is still and probably will continue to be the largest one. We have CHAPS, which is a way for you to redirect your state tax dollars to specific organizations, which we encourage people to do. We've got the Charro Invitational Golf Tournament, which we started 2 years ago when we were trying to figure out coming out of COVID, because we really wanted to keep our donations at the same level.
Right.
So we started the golf tournament, which is now raising well over $250,000 a year, which is this will be the third year.
Fantastic.
This year. And then we also have Prada del Sol, which we work with the city and a volunteer organization to help put on. We started doing that. I think this was our second full year.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the third year, but it got canceled. And so
we had Parade Boss on earlier talking about that.
That's right.
Joe Dika. Yeah.
That's right. So it's been so we've got a bunch of different ways that we raise the money, and then that really flows through our Charro Foundation, which is not just Charros. We also have community leaders that agree to serve on that board, and so a lot of those dollars are funneled through the foundation. We give to really three main causes: it's youth sports, education, and Western heritage. And so we give to Boys and Girls Club, we give to Phoenix Children's. It's really all over the board, and we evaluate that every year. And we've had charities come and go. A lot of times the charities will be other organizations that individual charros work with and advocate for. And so we really, we try to make sure, and we have a whole team of people, I'm not on it internally, who evaluate all this. They do a very, very thorough job of reviewing all the requests that we get. And I would say, my takeaway from what I've seen so far is they really want to make sure when we give dollars that we're giving a group something they really need and can use, as opposed to just being a rounding error in some larger organization. So we try to be really thoughtful about what those causes are and where they go, and always want to make sure they align with our mission.
I love that. And that's exactly what you all stand for, and that's how this got started. So let's kind of talk about the beginning. I know you weren't around when the Charros started in 61, but talk about how you all worked as an organization to get spring training here and bring it to Scottsdale.
Oh man, you need to get one of the guys
one of the lifers on.
Yeah, you should get Don Carson on here and get him to talk.
Right.
But no, it was great. I think there was a pretty famous dinner at one of the restaurants in town where some guys sat around and said we ought to try to do this. And I think that they were. I think the team was maybe in Tucson or Yuma, and they were really trying to bring him to Scottsdale. And it was just a group of community leaders that decided to do it. And they, said we should probably try to figure out how to make this work. And they made it work, built a stadium around it, and the rest has been history. And so it's changed over time. The stadium has improved. I would tell you that a lot of the revenue sources are different now. I think when it first got started, it was program sales were the main thing. Well, in a digital age, it's much harder to sell programs. And also the quality of the experience has gotten so much better at the games. I mean, I think as baseball has become more popular, seeing a game in person has become a lot more popular and also expensive. And so, fortunately, we can charge for that, and so it helps our charities that we support. I need to get you some names of some of the older guys to come on, because it's funny because you could get 2 or 3 of those guys on here, and the stories that they would tell about what it was like in the earlier stages it's really incredible. It's really incredible.
All right, we'll talk about that off air, and I'll get that happening. I'm going to take a short break. I want to talk about, like you mentioned, the continuation of keeping the Giants here for the next 25 years, what that means for Scottsdale and more. So we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. We all want that perfect smile, so who better to call for all your dental needs than Dr. Rob DeVito at Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. Dr. DeVito and his staff offer the best dental experience. Whether it's time for your routine cleaning, one-of-a-kind laser dental treatment, or teeth whitening, their same-day service saves you time and money. And as a mom of 2 little ones, trust me, this is exactly what I need. Give Dr. DeVito a call at 480-990-1905. You can also find him on the web at drdevito.com. I'm sitting here with the 2023 baseball chairman for the Scottsdale Charros, Bob Weston. Bob, we were just talking about how the Charros, everything you do, keeping them here, is you just signed another deal to keep the Giants here till 25 more years. There was a point where we almost lost them because of the upgrades needed at the stadium, and Scottsdale City pulled through with the bonds. We got this gorgeous new stadium out there that really is so beautiful. Tell me about what the future looks like now with the Charros and spring training and the Giants in particular.
With anything, it's like you want a long-term commitment from everybody. And so we were so pleased that all that came together. And, I wasn't in the room when all the contract negotiations were going on, but we certainly heard about it. And, fortunately, the city worked really well with us. I think we were an important part of the conversation with the city. They really wanted to make sure we stayed and really did a great job advocating to make sure that our role would not be diminished in what we have. And so, fortunately, we also have the clarity and the certainty of what's going to happen for the next 25 years, obviously absent a global pandemic that might change individual seasons. But we've got pretty good terms laid out for what we can do and how we can raise money and different things we can do in the stadium. I would say that, things were tense there a little bit, trying to, it's
hey, that's a good contract negotiation if they're tense, right? And you don't know which way it's going to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that there was, I wouldn't say it was strained, but it certainly changes the conversation for, the guys that were in my position trying to just execute on the season. Mm-hmm. And so now that that's all behind us, it's funny because in 2021, we were trying to get as many people in the stands as we could. There were health concerns.
Right.
Different teams had different rules they wanted to play by.
I didn't even think about that.
San Francisco, I think, was more onerous than others, and so I think our capacity was actually limited more so than some others. They were generous in allowing us to have more in the lodge, but so you had that in 2021, and then last year it was just this shotgun start when because of the collective bargaining agreement, and so we there wasn't much we could really do leading up to that, and so. It's like in life, everything's about relationships. And so one of the things that we've really tried to do this year is really kind of get to know the organizations better. So we've got a great team at the stadium that we get to work with all the time, the Giants staff that we interact with all the time. It is a, everybody wins type of approach to everything. And so it's been really, really, really good. And it's interesting, too, because some of the guys who were around, that's one of the questions I always get. How are things with the Giants? They're fantastic. They've just been so good. They've been great partners with us. The city's been great partners. It's really helped. And I think, again, everyone's kind of pulling in the same direction. Like, we got our first 16-game season and actually a 17th game, which we'll talk about hopefully at some point, the Savannah Bananas.
I will be there.
We'll have to talk about that one. And so everyone's kind of pulling in the same direction to try to have this be just a great season to almost reset what the new normal is going to be.
Well, let's talk about, I totally agree. Before I jump to the next one, I agree with you. It is a relationship based, and that's how everything goes. And the closer you are with the city and Giants, thank you, because I know that it means so much to the city to have them here and to have the spring ball right in our backyard. Speaking of, the Savannah Bananas. If you all do not know about the Savannah Bananas, Google it right now. You're going to laugh hysterically. I tell everyone it's like the Harlem Globetrotters of, baseball. So are they going to play? Because we're going to be there. I'll be there that Friday night.
They are playing Friday, March 31st at 7 o'clock. I had heard of them. I spent 15 years in Atlanta, and I've actually played at their stadium before.
Have you really?
Many years ago. But I knew of them, but I didn't realize they became as national as they've become. And people keep asking me too, what is it? And because a lot of guys in our organization don't even know what it is and what we're trying to sell. And somebody sent a link around the other day of one of their outfielders standing there. There's a pop fly coming to him, and he stands there and does a backflip while he's catching the ball. It's
amazing what they do.
It's incredible.
So fun. My best friend lives in Savannah. She's been going to games for years before, you could just walk up and get a $10 ticket. Now there's a year waiting list.
They sell it every single game.
Yeah. And so when I told her that they were coming out here and we got tickets, we're taking my son's little league team. So we're all going with the baseball kids and their parents, and we are so excited. I got tickets last August. I was ready. What a great opportunity, though, for the Giants to be showcased with them. They're both huge national teams in that way.
It's going to be really cool. They're playing 2 games in Arizona, the Friday night here, and then in Scottsdale. And Peoria is the one on Saturday. And so it's interesting because their whole deal, it's a $25 ticket.
Yeah.
And so they sell out instantly. They said they had, I think it was 20,000 people on their registration list. They opened up early to sell to Giants season ticket holders. I think they sold 900 tickets in under 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so we are not sold out in the Charro Lodge. We kind of held off a little bit on putting that out there because we kind of wanted to understand
what it is and what you're getting yourself into.
We wanted to, because again, so we're charging more, but I would tell you that the price we're charging is consistent with what secondary ticket prices are.
It really is. I was on and I'm glad you brought it up because I was on your website looking and I was like, wait, are they playing the Giants? Because usually they always play the bad news. It's not the bad news Bears.
Party Animals.
The Party Animals is their everyday team that they play. These guys will come out on stilts. The umpire can shake his booty like I've never seen an umpire do. The dance routines that these players go into and break into in the middle of the game is hilarious. And it's just a fun night for baseball.
It's really cool. And it's funny, a lot of times at our games, people get there right at game time. I would tell anyone who's listening, get there by 5:30 at the latest. An hour and a half before the game, they open it up. They do all sorts of fan interaction in the stands.
Yeah.
They'll have players coming up. They'll have coaches coming up. It's really, really cool.
It's an all-night thing.
We've been kind of so focused on the first day of the regular season that we haven't had a chance to focus as much on the Bananas, but we're actually doing that this week is try to – because we're going to do some other cool stuff. May or may not see a bunch of charros running around in banana outfits that day. So we're gonna have fun with it.
Oh my gosh, this is make this whole interview now. That's all I care about right now. I love it. I'm so excited. Well, Bob, I want to ask you, what does being a Charro mean to you?
Oh, that's a great question. So I moved out here 8 years ago from Southeast, didn't really know anyone. We knew a couple people at work, but like we didn't really have any close relationships. And I heard about the Charros through some guys I was playing golf with one day. They were talking about this horseback ride they do, which is something that also goes back 60 plus years. We originally started as a thank you for a lot of our sponsors, and now it's become an annual, about a 4-day horseback ride, sleep out.
Yeah. Have you done that?
I've done it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
It's really fun. It's really fun.
Okay. I camp for one night and then I'm ready to go home. So I'll visit you and I'll cheer you on from the road.
I think we had single digits one time sleeping outside on a cot.
Yeah, I'm good.
That was pretty uncomfortable. But it's really fun. So I kind of got to meet some guys through that and came out to some games and did the ride. And first of all, it's all these are all leaders in the business community that are all around. Everyone's got their own different jobs they do. You know, we do this totally on the side. It's a purely volunteer organization. And there's something about being around people who are committed to taking so much of their own personal time and giving it back into the community. And also a community that has open arms for it too, that it really is appreciative. It's fun when we do the Parada del Sol and we're riding through Old Town to hear all the different people, particularly teachers that come out and cheer and just are really appreciative of everything that we do. So, you know, I like to try to spend as much time giving back as possible, and so this is a great way to do it. And the group of guys are just a great group. It's a great organization. It's well run. I appreciate the history that goes along with it and the impact it's made on the community, and it's a bunch of fun guys to be around.
And you know, for someone like yourself that's not from here, you know, wasn't raised in the West and stuff like that, it says a lot about who the Charros are, that you really can be a part of this community and walk in and they bring you in and you become a Westerner really quick, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, it's been, again, we did not grow up in the West and really didn't know what we were in for out here. And it's just, I would say the group is reflective of what we've seen in the Valley. People are nice, people are welcoming, people want to help. Yeah. This is a very, very philanthropic part of the world, which I wouldn't say it was unexpected. I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
And it's been a real cool thing to see is how much people enjoy giving back, whether it's time or dollars or whatever they can do to give back in the community. It's really important, and it's one of the reasons we like living out here.
I agree with you 100%. I've lived all over the country, as the listeners know, and this is one of the few cities I've ever lived in where it really is about supporting each other, and it's all about collaboration, not necessarily competition. That's right. There's room for everyone here to succeed, and people encourage it. So I agree. Well, leading up to that, my favorite question I ask everyone before we say goodbye, what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
My favorite Scottsdale vibe? I tell you, one of my favorite things to do is when my family and I ride bikes into brunch on Saturday mornings.
Very cool.
Yeah, we live right in Arcadia, and so it's a nice, easy bike ride to go around town, and it's really fun. That's like when I think about like one of the things we like about living in and around Scottsdale. That's it. Your face just lit up when you said that. It really did. It's just we don't do it every weekend, but whatever the weather. I mean, it's too cold to do it right now, but it's just fun. It's just such a cool energy in Old Town, and we work right in Old Town too, and so I'm kind of there all the time. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love that. Well, go check it out. The Charro Spring Training is going on all month. As you heard from Bob, there are tickets still available. Go check out the Savannah Bananas, because you better get those Charro Lodge tickets now that people know that y'all have them, Bob, because they are hot commodities, and you're still getting a better deal going online through y'all's tables than you are going to get from buying, from third parties, those tickets. Thank you so much for all that you and the Charros do for the city of Scottsdale, most importantly for the charities, the youth that you help every year with this organization. And thank you for supporting us and going out there and watch the Giants. Glad to be here. Thank you. All right. Stay tuned. We'll come back with some calendar of events right after this. We've heard commercials for those other insurance agents. But when it comes to someone who knows Scottsdale in the insurance business, there's only one person you can trust with your stuff, and that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy and his team of agents have been helping Scottsdale for over 20 years. From big purchases to rentals, there is nothing Jeremy can't cover at the best rate with the best service. Don't believe me? Then give him a call yourself at 480-515-5523 or find him on the web at jeremymueller.com.
Well, thank you, Bob Weston, to all the Charros out there who helped make this spring training one of the best ones. And like we said, we've already hit attendance records, and we're only 10 days into this spring training event. So way to go, Scottsdale, and keep coming out because it's all for a good cause. I've left the link in the description of this episode for you to find all the games going on and tickets to Savannah Bananas. Seriously, go check them out. They're hilarious, and you will see me and my family and my entire son's Little League team out there. So come say hi. I'd love to meet you. Other things are happening, though, in Scottsdale. It's not just spring training season. Right now, Rodeo Scottsdale at Westworld is happening from March 9th through 12th, heading into its 70th year. Parada del Sol Rodeo is sure to be fun for the whole family. There will be buck riding, rodeo clowns, and more. I know it's sure to be full of fun, so go check it out at Westworld. For all you movie buffs out there, it is award season, which means we are getting into the Best Picture. Harkins Theater is doing this amazing deal this week for movie buffs. It's $40 to go see all of the Best Picture nominees for this year's film awards. I mean, that's like $5 a picture is what they're boiling it down to. So go get your opportunity to see all the movies in 1 week. Have a wonderful week, Scottsdale. Keep vibing, and I'll see you around town.